Today, we are going to learn about the verb tenses. We'll start with the present simple tense. Hey there, language lovers! Welcome back to Learn to Speak Fluent English, your go-to spot for mastering English with a twist of fun. First things first, what is the present simple tense? We use the present simple tense when an action is happening right now or when it happens regularly. We use it for facts and for stative verbs. But in short, we use it for actions happening in the present. Okay, so how do we make the simple present tense? We make the simple present tense in two ways. We use the auxiliary verb do and we also use the verb to be. For this slide, let's look at the auxiliary verb do. Now, to use the auxiliary verb do, we need a subject of a sentence, we need the auxiliary verb, and we need the verb in the base form, which is in the present form. Now, there are some exceptions to this auxiliary verb do. For positive sentences, we do not use the auxiliary verb do. For example, I eat rice. We don't use the auxiliary verb do. For third person singular, he, she, and it, we add an S to the main verb. She eats rice, or an ES to the auxiliary verb if it's a negative sentence. For example, she does not eat rice. And for the verb to be, we do not use an auxiliary, even for questions and negatives. Let's see this in a more table format. Great! Let's look at some examples with the main verb like. For positive sentences, we do not use the auxiliary verb do. So we say, I like cake. You like cake. For third person singular, he, she, and it, we add an S to the main verb. He likes cake. For negative sentences, we introduce the auxiliary verb do. I do not like cake. He, she, and it, which is third person singular, we add an es to the auxiliary verb do and not to the main verb. He likes cake. For negative sentences, he does not like cake. To ask a question, we bring the auxiliary verb to the beginning of the sentence. Do you like cake? Does she like cake? Moving forward. How do we make the simple present tense with the verb to be? This is pretty simple. We take the subject of the sentence and we add a main verb, which is in its base form. Now, the verb to be is very important in English and it's used to describe states or conditions of something or someone. Now, in the present simple form, it's divided into three: am, is, and are. Let's look at this in a table format. Now, if you notice in this table, there is no auxiliary verb do. Yes, that is because when we use the verb to be, we do not use an auxiliary verb. So we say, I am happy. Now, you is second person and plural. So we say are. You, we, they are happy. For he, she, and it, which is in the third person, singular, we say is. He is happy. For negative questions, we only add not to show negation. I am not happy. They are not happy. And it is not happy. Now let's look at questions. Now, for questions, same as with the verb, the auxiliary verb do, we bring the verb to the beginning of the sentence and we say, am I happy? Are you happy? Is she happy? Now, to ask questions, remember that we invert the verb and bring it to the beginning of the sentence. All right. Now, how do we use the simple present tense? Now we use the simple present tense when the action is a general statement of truth, when the action is happening at the moment, and when the action happens all the time. That's like a habit. And finally, when the action is happening right now, or not just right now, but kind of referring to the future as well. All right, I'll show you. General statements of truth. And these are actions that are not tied to a specific time but are generally true. General truths can include facts or something that exists and is always true. These can be specific facts, preferences, likes and dislikes, descriptions, or general states. For instance, I like fish and chips. This is a general truth about me. Or we could say, the sun rises in the east. Or she has blonde hair and blue eyes. All right, let's look at the next one. Now we use the simple present tense for stative verbs. Now we usually use the present continuous tense when we want to talk about actions happening at the moment. However, some verbs cannot be put in continuous tense, so they are called stative verbs. And these stative verbs are words like feel and understand, have, and hope. And we use the present simple tense to refer to these verbs. We do not add ing to stative verbs. For example, I have a headache at the moment. She feels jealous. I see my teacher at the school gate. There are instances where we do add ing to stative verbs, but that is another video for another day. Let's move forward. Actions that happen habitually or routines or schedules. The present simple tense is used to express regular habits, routines, and schedules, and repeated actions. Some examples are I take a shower every morning. She usually plays volleyball on Saturdays. Now, for repeated actions, we use adverbs of frequency, words like seldom, occasionally, usually, always. And finally, we use the present simple tense sometimes for future appointments or meetings or schedules. And this is especially true for public transportation and formal appointments with a scheduled time. For example, I have a meeting next Friday. She sees the dentist in 2 days. Now, to use the present simple tense to refer to the future, you need a time marker. Now, a time marker is just a word that indicates a time in the future. And there you have it, the simple present tense. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, you probably wouldn't see this video next time. So subscribe, hit on the bell icon so that you're notified when a new content is released. I'm not letting you go so easy. There are activities up ahead, so feel free to pause the video and do the activities. Come on, try it out, just for fun. And that's a wrap. Thank you for watching Learn to Speak Fluent English. And today we've talked about the present simple tense. I will see you in the next video, the present continuous tense. It's bye from me for now. I'll see you soon.